Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's a long time no see you. And today is a Saturday. I got free time and I think I'm going to make a new video about GraphQL and user ApolloClient in your React application. So the first thing we need to understand about what's about GraphQL. So to build a server side for GraphQL, it takes more time, but I'm not recommend to do that. So I recommend user GraphQL January, and you can log in with your GitHub account and to create a free project. For example, I'm going to create a new project YouTube and text list and create a new project. It supports you run the subdomain. Now this default it supports to a user model, and now you can take a look at click on generate. Take a couple seconds. Okay, so after successful, you have a link open up. You can take a look at document and schema. Yes, first take a document tab, and you have default user because you have only one model, so we have only user. So with this document, you can search inside the document. For example, create a new user, log in, and update user, and delete user, and even subscription. This is for GraphQL subscription. Now let's take a first query. And to SQL query, you can write out query right here. For example, we take query. If you want to execute the query, you first start with query first. And if you want to create a new mutation, and start with the mutation. Now let's take a look at query user. And the user let's take a look at user. It has argument first, last, after, and before. It's for React relay support. Now I can start with search. Search is nothing. Let's keep it empty. And for now, and return user connection. First argument is a cal. Cal is a number, and you can see it had edges. And inside edges, we do have cursor and node. Cursor and node. Node is actually a user type, and click on it. You can see its subscription. It has a property is an ID, email, first name, last name, and row, and created as and update as. Now to execute the query, simple. Let's click on play button. Now by default, the GraphQL January is create first administrator account. So we can log in with administrator account and user inside header. Okay, let's take a look at a new mutation. For example, to create a new user. Let's take a look at permission tab, and to create user, a role can add authenticate. So meaning, if you running a mutation to, for example, in this document, we have a mutation to create a new user. Let's take a look at create a new user. It has argument, new user. New user, you can see in new user, it has email, first name, last name, and password. So let's create a user and create user. We have an input. Input it should have new user, email, first name. Okay, so you should define a return. So let's take a look at return. What about its return? Return user is. For user is, it should have cursor and nodes. For example, we have a cursor. Cursor. This is just a string and nodes. Nodes should be same thing, and that's a user query. Let's copy that for quick. Now to execute the create user. Now let's take a look at header HTTP, and let's take a look at permission config. To create a new user, you should log in. So to create users, it should have a message accept denied because we didn't log in. So to log in, and remember the first initialize a project, so you go GraphQL generate a new user. So admin dev. Now let's take a look at mutation. We have a document as well, login. So login should have two arguments, the email and password. So mutation login. First argument email, and the password by default admin. So login should be have ID of token and user ID, first name, last name, email. Okay, so click on the play button and we select a login. Okay, so we have a token. This is a token we use it inside header. So what about header? So header, we only have this object. It will define authorization and beer and my token. So let's copy this token and replace my token. Okay. Now this means we have a login. Now I can create a new user. Okay, so create successful, create a new user. So after that, we can re-query and to see a new user. So it's new user create. Actually, you can query by first one. It's return one user. Okay, and even last one, you can return last user one. Okay, and even you can search by and use let's 10. Okay, it should be capture, right? My name. So that is how we do make a query and mutation in GraphQL. So let's get back to the tutorial. I'm going to decide the ask new model. Its name is nodes. My task node. My task list. Okay, this task. The task it can be it. Simply I think I ask new two field. It should be a title and not none, and either done field it should be a boon. Okay, so let's create a new relationship. For example, in this project, we do have a relation. For example, a user can have many tasks. Okay, you can define a task right here, but leave it default. Okay, so we have a two model and user and task. Every time you change the model, you must regenerate. Okay, it's successful, and we can actually press refresh button and to see a document change. Now you can see we have a task and user and user. So we did define a relationship. User has many tasks. So what's that meaning? Inside user, let's take a look at user. Inside every user, agent, and node, and user. Now you can see inside the user node, we have a task. It can be a subquery for getting a user task. Okay, so let me add new query right here. Task. Task, it can be search, task and first and last even. It's the same thing and user. For example, I can leave the task in default, and task it should be return count number of tasks and ages. We have a cursor and nodes. Node actually is the task. You can take a look at schema and see, and we have a task. It should have it's done, title, and user ID. User ID is the owner of the task who created the task and created time. The time is three field is automatically generated. Okay, so we have a task title and is a done, and created. Okay, so meaning we can scale this, and you can see. Okay, now I don't want to have a search anymore. Remember, every time you change the model, every time you regenerate, the database is a chain and it reloads. So you have to create a new user. Let's create a new user. And now let's take a look at user type. And we have a two user, but the task is empty. Its cow is number 0 and edges no edges. So to execute create a new task, you can simply do this by define a new mutation, or you can take a look at document and take a look at mutation, and we see create task. Create task it should be input new task. So create task. Okay. Remember, in this mutation name, you can define any name, but in sub of mutation graph, you must define the name of mutation exactly name, same name right here. For example, in post, the task we have a title. Title is a my task one, and is a done equal font. By default is font. Okay, so create task is should have return is the task A with cursor and node ID title and is a done and created that. Remember the task it should have user. You can see assuming in input new task it should have user ID. So to get user ID, you can, for example, I'm going to create a new task by me. So let's create copy cursor or user ID, same. So user ID. Okay, let's create first task. Let's rename this create task for easy to understand. Now let's create task. Okay, so the new task is created, and now we can take a look at user. We can see user and cursor, and the second user you can see the task is at one task. Or even you can make a new query. Simple. For example, query task ID task cow. Oh no, cow is set single and is cursor nodes title and either done created that. Okay, so we can see we have a query task. has only one task, and even you can see which user is knows. So this is user ID who created this task. Okay, so I hope you can understand about graph query and mutation. Let's take a look at subscription in the later. For now, let's get back to ApolloClient. So how do we use the ApolloClient in React application? Okay, so let's create a new project. Create a React app. Okay, GitHub. So to create new project, it's very simple. Just copy nph create React app. Now I'm going to change to curves and nph. It should be utip. Okay, so take a relax and wait for its loading a packages. Okay, it's done. Now cd to utip and npm store to start a new React server. Okay, so this is the first screen of React. Now I'm going to open new project, and no, I think I should be open. Open new project to Curve and YouTube. Now I'm going to delete everything. Okay, so I think I will delete everything. This as well. And I only keep index. So I'm going to create a new folder component. And in this, I will create a new app.cs. Okay, so my task list. And now we need to import app from component. And now let's see. It's index file. We don't have a CS. Okay. So this. Let's wait for our component app. What's default? Okay. So we have this is the first app, and now let's take a look at document of ApolloClient. We need to start by step to install React ApolloClient. Now first thing we need to copy that, and I'm going to go to open terminal, or you can use a terminal on this app. So I can user open new tab, and so we have inside project. Now npm install. No, it takes some time to install the package. And let's take a look at second step. Second step, we need to create a new client. So let's create a new file. In the source object is a client.cs. And now let's copy this. And we have a cost client. Now let's rename this to remember we have a YouTube client, and copy that and just adding query. Okay. Wow, this model is still installing. So we need to wait for a couple of minutes and to finish installing ApolloClient. So while for ApolloClient install, so I can create a new component. It's my task. So component task.cs. So the task it should be returned a list of tasks. So for example, we have a task, and every task, for example, in I can define an my task equal an array. So we have a title to do one is a done file, and the same thing I copy that to do number 2, and so we can map this by my task.map task index, and we can simply return a list. Inside this we have a URL tag and close this. Okay, so we have a task name task.title, and we should have a key called index to ignore the re-click. So nothing happened because we didn't involve the task into app. So to show the task inside the app, so simply we can return this by task, and to import from task. Okay, so prop type you need to install as well. So we can have a 2 tasks. Okay, so okay, this is done. ApolloClient done, and now I'm going to follow next step. Next step is client, and we have a client. So it's just simple to use your upload boot and connect to React. So let's copy this Apollo provider inside our app file. So let's copy that. Okay, now we should have a client. And close with upload. Okay, client should be imported from client. So to import that, we need to export client. So when we export the client, it's simple to create. This will be IntelliJ IDEA can be automatically imported from header file. Now you can see that nothing changed. Okay, client define. Okay, so refresh this. It's okay. Now I'm going to install one more time server stylus component. I'm not sure I remember this model exactly. Stylus component. All right. npm stable stylus component. Okay, so good. Stylus component is a very useful tool that allow we can custom seed at inside a React component. All right, so let's get back to the task list, and now I'm going to rename the div with container. Remember, container we didn't create. Now we need to create container equal style. Style equal import stylus from stylus component, and we should wait for okay this ready done. So style div, and now we can allow to custom, for example, mark with equal, for example, equal. Now I want to align my task to center. Okay, so we have a two tasks number one, number two. So how do we connect to our API and get the task list? For example, now I want to get my task list inside, for example, my user. I'm going to query user. Let's take a look at permission. User who can read, who can view. Yes, it's good, that good. Everyone, and we can run. So now query user. User ID, no ID, first name, last name, and we have to ask new ID. The user ID, it should let leave it empty, and we have a task. Now access ID node ID title is done. Created that. Now we need to take a user ID right here. This user ID. So my user ID. And now we can use this user and to collect the user data and my task. So to use a query, just copy this. Very simple. Copy that. So to help you understand about what is about variable. So I will integrate with ApolloClient, and now we can import it. Let's take a look at JavaScript because we have a GraphQL component class. So the task, we don't have a my template right here, but now I want to create query. So let's import query component, GraphQL component. So I can define a new query, cross lots user and task equal GraphQL. Should copy the same thing. No, should copy everything right here. Copy. Okay. Query user and load stack and GraphQL. So let's take a look at how to use a query component of ApolloClient. The simple, we see you have query, loading data, and let's copy that, import query from the Apollo React component. So inside the tasks list, I'm going to wrap everything with query. Query, this is the name of component. The query should take a look at the header query equal query. This is a query name. Query, it should equal load user. Let's copy that. And so we don't have any variable right here because we fixed the variable, the user ID right here. Okay, so we have a loading, errors, and data. And now we can open brackets and return. Let's move our list to inside the query component, and we need to check if error can return if and now we can show up error to string. Okay. If loading, and simply we can return div. Okay, so if we have a data, now we can log to console log data, and to see okay, now let's take a look inside the app. Okay, React component. If it does not exist, now we need to install this npm install and save. Okay, so it's done. Let's see our app. Now refresh. You can see the loading and fetching. But inside the data, we can still use the mock data from my task. And now let's take a look inside console. You can see now open a little bit console. You can see in my console we have a to do one, and we have a data. Data, it should be had attribute, it should be have a sub user, and we have a task and is and nodes. We have an ID. Okay, so that's good. I think I can increase my font. My font change to, so this help you can see my IDE better. So now we need to replace my task with data.user.task.map. Map should have for ace should has ace user and task. Now I can move it to the right. So we have a task, user, task, and ace. Ace should be an array. Ace should be have a node. Okay. So inside ace map task should be have a dot node dot title. Okay. Now let's see. We have a my task 1, and to calculate the task, we can move it to inside it. We have a div and URL and close by div, and we have it too, and we can care by data.user.task.care. Now we can see. Oh, okay, let's check data user task. All right, so we don't have a cow. Let's cow right here. So my task 1. Okay, good. So let me show you how to use a variable. Now we can deplace the mode. So let me show you how to use the variable. So for example, let's take a look at document. We have a user. Inside user, we have an argument ID, and in this case, let's click at bottom where query variable, and inside it, we could do this by ID, decide a new $sign ID should be equal ID, and we now copy that, and we can replace this by ID. This meaning the ID equal variable. A variable is should be right here with ID equal right here. Okay, let's take a look at variable. Okay, so now it's the same thing. Click on user. The data is the same, but for now I'm changing the user. It should be maybe the empty model not file. That's how we use a variable. So this is a GraphQL client, but how to use a variable in query of Apollo component? So simply, it should be same thing. You can copy right here. Copy that and replace from inside GraphQL. And now we need to copy the ID. So inside query, we could open variable. Variable should be ID equal this. So we can use a variable inside the query in case we can dynamic ID. For example, we can take a look at ID from current user login user and take it and path to the data. Now it should be the same thing. Okay. So let's create a new task and see how. My task number 2. Okay. So refresh this. It should be my task number 2. Okay, so I think we could have some checkbox and to mark the done. So for example, I'm going to make a checkbox input time equal checkbox. Yeah, right here. I think we can add, but it doesn't work. Now we need to add some more. It will be check equal task.node.either done. Check when. Okay, so we can't check anymore. So to do that, we need to create a mutation. Let's take a look at document. We have update task with argument. So for example, we have a task. Now I'm going to adding task.node.id. Okay, so we have ID of task, and so easy to copy that. For example, now should be mutation update task ID. For example, update with input either done. Now I want to update input done equal to, and okay, now I'm going to execute this. Okay, so it's done, and meaning we can refresh it. Should be one object. Okay, it check. Okay, and now I'm going to copy this and update this task it to 2 as well, and now we can refresh. So both tasks now are completed. So the sample, we can change the file for to update it for, and meaning the task. Okay, so this is how it works. So let's copy this mutation. Now I am going to we have on click right here, on click, or even on chain targets. So we can do this by open new brackets by console log task either e.target.check, and now we see inside console. Now I'm going to check this. Check is true. Okay, so we can get the variable check equal true, and now I'm going to variable new course updates task mutation equal GraphQL query, and now I'm going to for quick copy this. So remember we need to change the ID equal, it should be ID require. Now to understand about argument, you need to take a look at the document. For example, inside this, now we could move the task to ID equal ID. It should be required. Same thing, update task, we have ID required, and now we comma input $input. Input should be equal. Let's copy that. Update task. And now we can ID and input. It should be remove input. And now we could do that by we have an ID equal and we have an input. Should be an object either done equal fail. Okay, so it's meaning we can submit this update task and the same, and we can change to value 2. So this is how to use a variable in GraphQL. So the first thing we need to copy that, and I'm going to copy and replace everything right here. Okay, we have a mutation update task and update task, and we may need an ID right here. So when user create a new task, so we do need to create to update mutation. So there are 2 ways to update this. The first way, I'm going to show you the first way. We can open up client right here. This we allow to inside query ApolloClient. We have allow we can access the client to request. In for example, client we can call it mutate. Mutate it should take argument should be mutation. Mutation should be equal the mutation we define right here, and we have a variable with the 2 parameter. Let's copy that. The first in the ID it equal task .node.id is dynamic, and the input is done. Now we can make this better. Now we don't need the right here. We need to have input is done equal event.target.check. Okay, so now we can log this response result press, and we can even cast an error to update task. Okay, so let's see. Now we have a bot task is done. Now we need to take a look at network tab and clear everything. Now I'm going to uncheck it. You can see it's required. Okay. Now it should be take a look at response. Click at response tab. You can see update task should be parameter query variable input is a file, and this done. So now we can refresh this from the server. Now I can uncheck that. Okay, now it should be refreshed. Now remember, with the mutation updates a task, we don't have to apply to manually client to update local client cards. But I will show you how to update client cards soon. Okay, so that's it. We can click it. Now you can see it's slow update, slow update, slow update. Okay, so now we can stop this. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use another way to update by user mutation. Let's take a look about mutation. Fake data caching and okay, mutation. Let's take a look at mutation. So we have a document about for user mutation. It's a mutation component. So the second way, I'm not going to use it directly client right here. I'm going to use a mutation. So let's do split task. Very good. So I think we can split up our component into tasks. Say yes. So define a task. So in this case, we can simply replace this inside a task. So now I'm going to install this prop type. Okay, so now we define a new prop type task because prop type dot object. It should be an object, so we can do call task equal this dot prop. And now we can do this by open list. So let's copy that. Now I'm going to remove that. So we have a task. Now my ID is automatically imported task. So we have a task equal task dot node, and we have a key equal index. Right, so we can split this, and now we don't need end client anymore. Okay, so inside the task now, let's see, open up. We have empty because we refresh this. My task. Why we don't have a task.cal? Cal. Okay, so we have a task cal, and and now we can have a task. We have a checkbox input trace equal checkbox, and should be check equal task dot is a that. And now we can span tag task dot title, and I'm going to add an ID. Show an add ID. So we have a task ID and checkbox. So click on this, did nothing happen because we have fixed this. But now I'm going to use a mutation. So let's open this, import mutation. From upload React App component. And now we can grab this inside mutation. Should be update task and return that. It should be or this is a React fragment, or you can do it by using React fragment. Okay, so get back to task and going to copy this. update task mutation, and going to define that inside that we have a mutation equal update mutation, and we have a variable. Variable should be equal id equal task.id. I think we don't need to use a variable right here. We can do this by when input chain on chain event. We can cut is a done equal target dot check. So for now we can call mutation. So remember, update task and this function name is the same thing. Update task. We have a variable id equal task.id and input is a done equal is a done. Right, same thing. It's the same. But in ES6, you don't need to add more is done. You can simply do done right here. Okay, now let's take a look and open in network tab. Now clear it and you can see, click on it. It should return is done equal to. The same thing right here. Check this. And now the two bots check. Okay, it's another thing. I'm going to add new target right here. So in this case, instead, I'm going to add another the task right here. Click on it. So inside the task list, I am going to create a new button. So I can define that new component. Quick adds task. Adds.say. Okay, now I'm going to add right here quick add. So inside quick add, we do have an import mutation. So we can do wrap mutation. And now let's copy a query for adding new task. Okay, so cos adds task mutation equal I need to auto commit. Yeah, good. So create task. Now I'm going to open query. So we have an input. Should be take a look at document. Oh, create task. It should have an input a new task. Let's copy that. All right, good. And now we have a copy that. It should be the input. Now when the task is done, so open brackets and we have a same name, create task, and equal, it should be to the button, return a button, add task. Okay, so when on we listening on click, we could make a state right here. Okay, let's wait a couple of minutes. Now let's execute this by call to create task with the variable. Let's copy that. I just copy above. So the variable it should be is done. So I can name new task list, new task, and user ID. Now I can fix this. In real application, you need to take a user ID from current user login. Okay. So it's done. I add task. Now on click on this. Okay, so let's see what happened. You may need grab tag convert your document. Okay, I didn't add mutation. Add start. Okay, now open the network tab. We can see we can create a new tab. Okay, we can receive something happen. Modify inputs. Alright, so I need grab variable inside the input. Okay, we can check the on errors. We can check a console. Alright, console log an error. On complete. Press console.log complete press the data. Okay, now let's see what happened. Now I'm going to add new task. It should be exactly done. Okay, it should be a set deny because we don't have a word sets to to add new task because we didn't log in, so we need to add new task. Run can add, so everyone. Alright, Run can add everyone. It's good. It's simply okay. So in this case, we can't add new task because we didn't log in. Okay, let's take a look at this destination part. And what happened if I remove from my header and create task? Right, it's correct. It can, so it can't create task. So we do need to add new authorization. For now, let's copy this authorization into client, and we need to get back to ApolloClient and mutation glance at authorization. Yes. Now let's take a look at authorization, and we have origin right here. Now we could use a header. Now let's follow this cast link inside client. Cast client, that link should be right here, and we have link in memory cast. So it's okay. Now we need to let's replace this, and we can keep our query URL inside it. So authorization for now with token, we can use this in real application should be a login and get current login ID. But for now, quick fix, we could simple add token right here. So we can have a token, mirror token. And now we need to install everything packages. npm install and save. Okay, give me a few seconds, I'm taking my battery changer. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. So I got my laptop battery changer. Now save Apollo client, save Apollo link HTTP, and Apollo link contact. Okay, I'm run really quick and upload in memory. Okay, we did save that, and we do need a port. Okay, token a local store from token, so we can get a local store from token. But for now, it's simple, quick. We can log in with my out token. So and let's wait for okay, it's done, and let's see how it works. Refresh it up. Now I'm going to create new tab. Now you can see great. It return new node, new task. So you can see its problem. New tab is add to our database, but inside the title it doesn't work. It doesn't appending new to our new task. So what do you do? Okay, I'll show you to do that. Okay, now we refresh this. It should happen. We had 3. Okay, but now I'm going to implement its current cast. In ApolloClient, it's called as the management catching. You can read the document about catching, but for now right here, so I'm going to implement it inside this on complete. So we do have a client. Actually, we could do then right here. Rest const so those log response. It's rest. Now I'm going to remove uncompleted. Okay, so back. Now we can take a look at reference and see what happened. Okay, in React app. Okay, now open in console. Now click add new tab. We can see respond with an object, create a task, a note, task, create data, create task, and notes data, create task, notes. Remember, curse not equal respond rest data dot create task dot create task. That's one more time. I can't remember. Data create task, and we have a cursor and notes. Okay, that's this. Okay, set is. So we do need to access the client. To access the client, it's simple. We can do that. So now we do need to check inside the tag we have a node title created as. We should copy the same 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing. It should be make sure we have 1, 2, 3, 4. It should be same. Okay. So now we take a look at task. Let's export this query. Export this query. Load task. And now we need to read cast. Cause cast equal client. It's client right here. Read query. Which about query? Query. It should be from the task list. This case. Now we need to import load user tag. Now I hit Control space. It's automatically imported. and you can see we may have a variable right here, but in this query we didn't, in this task list query we didn't add new. Okay, so we have a variable. So in this case we are going to import code in this variable task equal. Now I'm going to copy it right here. I want to keep the same config. So now we have a port in this. Inside it we do have a variable as well in a task list variable. Let's make sure everything is correct. Okay, now let's see what's happened. Refresh. Apps still work good. Okay, so we get back to quick adds and read cast. It should be moved to inside try and cast. Error. Okay, so we have a catch, and now we are trying to append new task, new ace right here. Now we have a cursor. All right, let's test a cursor. Let's copy the name exactly. Okay, cursor. So we have a ace cursor nodes, and inside the ask new we have a cursor and note the same thing. So meaning now we need to console log cache and see how. Now click on this. We have a return data, and we have a catch user and task and ace. So we need to append new data from to ace user task A. So we can do by this by client write query. Should be the query, just same thing, the same lot user query. And remember variable, it should be the same thing. And we have a data. Now data is the most important. Catch. Now let's take a look at user catch.user. And okay, so catch user, and we have a task. Okay, and we have ace. It should be appending new item to catch.user.task.ace and new ace right here. Okay, now let's see if it works. Okay, now I'm going to add a new. Now you can see new task is the append. So if you want to append the new task to the first of array, so simple, we can do that. Now you can see a new task append to the first. Okay, all right. So I keep to append to the end of the list. All right. This is a task. Okay. So we can make a check done. Okay, now you can see that. So one more time I want to show you how to update the task. For example, we update the task name. So simple. Now remove the console log. Okay, good. So inside the task we could have a button on click checkboard. So I think on click Okay, so I think we should have a new button, edit. So let's see, verify. We have an edits right here. Click edit. All right, so we have a button. Let's item. So inside the tab, we have a container item. It should be so we have a padding. So we have a border, right? Okay, so good. Now we have a edit button. So on click edit button. Now I think we can do right here by make for. So inside this we have a on click. We can set set state either edit true. So we can do this by make a new component, edit task. Okay. Cast task. We can define a new task. Right. Okay. So mutation we can do by this if check. We can do this by cast edit user state. Okay, if it edit, we can return edit task with task equal task, and otherwise we can return this. So for now, let's verify if it's work. Click on button. We see nothing happen because inside edit task we don't have anything. So we can do it by input file context and place folder, enter task, and the value it should be a task dot title. Now let's see. All right, so we have a title, and other thing, button say. So impress. Alright, so we have a container and rename div to the container to user, and we can able to right on save. We can have our updates. Okay, so we have on chain. We can set value. Okay, we set change the value. So well, props dot task dot title. We can set default the value when the component dismount, and in this case we have a value, it should be equal, it should be from the state. We use the value from state, so we can value task.title value. Okay, now let's see how it works. Okay, my task 2, new task. Okay, so we can change that, and we can submit button, but nothing changed. So now let's do a mutation. We can see inside we have a task, and we have a mutation update task. So let's copy that inside edit task, update task mutation ID nodes, and I'm going to copy that. Okay, we have an update task and update task mutation, and we need to wrap this inside a mutation. So import mutation. So we can wrap inside mutation. Alright, mutation equal updates. Now we return this container. So when we hit the button on click, now we need to change to call the update task to make change. So variable should be have an input. So in this case, we need to update only the title. So we have a title. Title, now it comes to the value. Because you can take a look at document, and you can see adapted task. We have argument ID, input are a missing ID. So ID task.id, right? Okay, so we may need to loading for. So we can see the set state loading true, and when respond this.set state loading for, even catch loading equal fail. Okay, so we catch error loading fail. We can have a button. Now I'm going to loading from state, So we have a, if it's a loading, we can change to saving, and other way save. Okay, now let's see. I change my check edit, save it, edit. Okay, now we can take a look at the network type. We can save it, pause successfully, and return is done, and my task is edit. So what we're going to do, change edit. So what we need to close this. So once it's completed, so we may define new on complete prop function. So once it's complete, we can change this to prop dot on completed. We may need to check if this dot prop dot on complete exits. If this function is exit, so we can notify is complete with rest point data. Okay, so what we're going to do, it's inside this task we can have uncompleted. We need to set either edit equal 4 fail and should be automatically call the edit component. For example, edit 1 save that. Okay, it should be now task ABC save that. Okay, now refresh this. It should be okay. Go to bottom. Okay, so I think I need to make a new delete button, but the video will take too long, so I think we can do it later. Simple, we can take a look at a delete task. That's a simple just ID, and I think your homework is a click button, delete right here, or click right here. So even when we click on check, we can automatically delete it, delete everything when we check. So I think I can do in the next video. Thank you for watching and see you again. Bye.